And joining us for this next sponsored segment is Zayn Kalyan, Executive Chairman with LUXXfolio, a Canadian digital asset and technology company focused on cryptocurrency mining and digital infrastructure solutions. Zayn, good to have you with us. Your company has made a major pivot toward Litecoin. What does it take to do that, and why have you made that move?
Yeah, great to be here, and thanks for the opportunity. Litecoin has been, as you see this transition into gold and silver and kind of stores of value as the dollar kind of pulls back, Litecoin has presented itself as a really great opportunity as a store of value, one, but also as an actual currency that can be used on a day-to-day basis. And at LUXXfolio, we just see an amazing opportunity to adopt this as our core treasury asset, so effectively treating Litecoin like cash. And our main goal is just really to drive adoption of Litecoin itself. We think that there's a massive opportunity for the general public to be using Litecoin as a currency for day-to-day payments. Everyone's kind of heard of Bitcoin, and there's obviously a lot of buzz around Bitcoin. Litecoin is a close cousin. It's one of the original kind of altcoins or alternative currencies adjacent to Bitcoin. But it has a long history, 100% uptime, and really the way that we characterize it as digital silver.
Okay, so just dig into that a little more for us, how Litecoin is different from other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, so it's a store of value very similar to Bitcoin. It's actually based on the original Bitcoin source code, but been improved in a number of ways, kind of core among those being speed and efficiency of transactions. So where Bitcoin is somewhat slow and can be expensive to transact in, Litecoin is relatively significantly cheaper, as well as being a lot faster. So it can actually be used for day-to-day payments. So imagine rather than kind of buying your coffee with a US dollar or a US dollar stable coin, you could be buying your coffee with Litecoin, and you can actually be storing your value and protecting yourself from inflation, leveraging Litecoin, and then using that as a currency on a day-to-day basis.
So to that point, what do you see as the future potential of Litecoin in perhaps corporate finance and commerce?
Yeah, we think it's significantly undervalued, and I think that there's a massive opportunity for the price to appreciate. Bitcoin's obviously seen this run in price and value, and I think Litecoin is following that closely behind. But still today, we think it's significantly undervalued. So as a treasury asset, it's great because there's a lot of potential upside for investors, as well as just the general public to adopt Litecoin. And I think ultimately you'll start to see more institutional adoption. But really our focus is, aside from institutional adoption, is actually more on adoption from the general public of adopting Litecoin as a digital currency for day-to-day payments.
What will that take? Is it just a matter of people investing more in it, or something more on the business side?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. Obviously, there's a lot of macro factors. You're starting to kind of see this debasement trade. People are moving away from the dollar and looking for other alternative ways to store their wealth, and that can be Bitcoin, gold, silver, and I think Litecoin is following there closely thereafter. So I don't think it's anything specific that's going to really change things, but I think it is just a matter of time before things kind of wake up and people realize that Litecoin has been this digital currency that's been around for so long, has such a great history, and just has so much opportunity.
So how can businesses and potential investors make the most of Litecoin, and what do you think they should know if they are thinking about investing?
Yeah, so I think one of the best ways to get exposure to Litecoin, one, is you can obviously take a look at our company, LUXFfolio Holdings. Our ticker is LUXXF on the OTC. But aside from that, I think there's other opportunities, obviously, with just adopting Litecoin as a general currency in itself, and obviously that benefits everyone as a whole. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for that to be leveraged as the price appreciates. In terms of what people should know, I think you should obviously know that with any kind of digital currency, there's obviously some volatility associated with that. But Litecoin has been one of those currencies that's been around for a long time. It's got a very stable history of liquidity. It's a great kind of solid asset, and I think there's a lot of those things are de-risked when we look at Litecoin as an asset.
For folks who are not too familiar with, or perhaps have not invested in any digital currency so far, is there anything kind of missing from the general discussion about Litecoin and also digital currencies more broadly that you think would be useful for them as a perspective going forward?
Yeah, I think that it's just important to realize that you're going to start to see more and more adoption of digital currencies in day-to-day use case. I think a lot of it will be hidden in the background. People will kind of be using digital currencies and not even knowing it. They'll be going about their day using regular kind of banking and financial applications, and they'll think that everything will kind of work the same. But in the background, I think digital currencies will be underpinning that in a lot of ways. So Litecoin actually has a great opportunity. I think if you want to get exposure to Litecoin, you want to learn more. One of the best ways to do that, if you're not really familiar with digital currencies, is to look at a company like ours that provides exposure to Litecoin without having to kind of fully understand all the ways to get involved directly.
All right, LUXFolio, you heard it here. Thank you so much, Zayn Kalyan. Good to speak
Thank
with you.
you. Thanks.